Alright, now that we have our layout for the mortise as well as our pilot hole drilled, we can come over to the scroll saw and make our mortise cut. And now remember, this is going to be an inside cut, which means that we don't want to cut through any of this outside portion because we want to keep all of that intact for the strength of the joint, and we only want to cut out this inside part. So what that means is that we have to thread the blade through that hole that we made there. So in order to do that, we're going to need to turn this on the back, flip it up to loosen it. Not every single scroll saw has exactly the same setup for that back, but everything has a tension adjustment for the top arm on the back there, so we can loosen that. Then we have a thumb screw on the front so that we can remove the blade from the holders. We've got a top and a bottom holder there. And now you can see we have our clamp here that is loosened by our square key or square wrench. It goes in this little holder down here. So fit it in there, and whoever did this last did a good job tightening it. Now you only need to loosen it. You don't need to take the screw out. Alright, now that I have the holder off of one end, I need to make sure that I know which way the blades are, the teeth are pointing. They're pointing down towards my hand, and I want them to be pointing down towards the marking that I made here because I want to be able to see this. This needs to be on top of the table. So I'm going to put it so the teeth are angled down towards my drawing, and then I can put it back in here, and I want this screw on the bottom also to be up. So I'm going to hold this so that it's up, as well as the other guy that is in the holder is up, and I'm going to put this close up here so that it's well supported. This is a small piece so that it's not a big deal, but if you're doing something large, it's going to be more of an issue to do this part. Now for this, I want to make sure that I insert the blade into the clamping area, but not jam it up against the screw, and certainly not push it through the screw. And I want to make sure that it is well tightened here. And let's see how good of a job I did. Alright, so I want to have it coming straight out of the pointy here. I don't want to have it off to the side. Alright, I want to have it coming straight out of the point. And we'll see if this job that I did here is good enough, or if, no, you know what, I should probably fix that. Because it's slightly angled, and this never goes well if it's slightly angled. Alright, so let's fix that, and if I fix it properly now, maybe I will save myself some hassle later on. What's the old saying? A stitch in time saves 9. Alright, that looks better. Alright, now I need to make sure that the wood is on top, and I insert the bottom first, and then I insert the top. Alright, now that's in there, and I'm going to retighten this and check for wiggle, especially down below. If it's still wiggling down below, then it's not tightened enough. Now this has a flip down which snaps it tighter. Alright, that feels tight. And now that that's tighter, I can tighten the thumb screw. And the air to blow the dust off so I can see my line. Very important to have adjusted there right above here. Now the teeth are going to be cutting in the downward position, which will help hold this on the table, but there's always an upward swing. So I'm going to need to be holding this down, and I need to make sure that my fingers are not in line with the blade. And of course, because there is going to be some sawdust and possibly chips kicked up, I'm going to want my safety goggles. Alright, let's adjust this here, and now let's make our cut. as you can see, I'm doing some back and forths here to widen this part right down here because I need to be able to turn my workpiece without pinching the blade. So now I have it wide enough that I can have it turned, but not while it's vibrating with the cut, with the motor turned on. But I can turn it now. It's wide enough so that I can turn it now. And it's very important that as you're cutting this, number one, you don't cross the line. You always stay on the waist side of the line. And number two, you don't pinch the blade. So I'm very slowly going back and forth to make a relief cut here so that the blade has space when I turn my workpiece. So I'm going to make one more relief cut and then I can turn it and get this little corner out. Alright, I got that corner out. Now I can spin this around and cut down and do the longer side, doing the same thing for this other corner here. Make a relief cut so that I can turn it, and making sure that I always stay on the inside of the line, because we can always smooth this down with a rasp or a chisel if we need to. I got the other guy cut out. Now I need to take this off. Loosen the back, loosen the thumb screw, take it out of the holder, basically the entire operation that I did before in reverse. Place into here. Whoop, don't break the blade by letting the weight hang on there. Loosen, and now I have this off. And now it's time to clean up this guy and test fit it before I see if it needs to be glued up. Not all mortise and tenons do, but it's usually a good idea, especially if you're going to have anything like a chair, you're going to need to have that glued. But for this test, we'll see about that. Oh, also, clean up your workspace and put the blade back together for the next person. Don't leave a mess.